Now let's talk about emotional control and mindset. You maybe think, why do I bring this up? What has this actually to do with trading? If you are not able to control your emotions while you're trading and to regulate certain emotions in a specific way, you will inherently lose a lot of money. It is pre-programmed. There's no way around it. I speak from experience. And I will give you some examples for that. And I will also teach you in this lesson how we can control certain aspects of our emotions and also keep our mindset in check so that we make the right decisions in the right moment. That of course does not mean that you should be like a psychopath and turn off all your emotions to be completely objective while you're trading. I'm just saying there are certain things that we need to do, certain steps that you need to take to make sure that you have the objective bird eye view that you need when you look at the charts and go into a trade absolutely with zero emotions. When it comes to staying in control while you are trading, there are three big pillars that make sure that you are profitable in your trade. The biggest pillar of all of them is patience and your emotions to be able to control these things. You need to protect your emotional capital. What do I mean by that? Protecting your emotional capital is, for example, you feel super energetic today, and then somebody comes along and basically gives them all their bullshit, all their negative experience from their day. You're listening to it because you want to help them. And when you are done, you feel super exhausted because this person now unburdened all their negativity on you, and you start thinking about this, and you will do this subconsciously without that you're actually realizing it. And you speak 2-3 hours with that person, and then you go out of that conversation and you're like, I feel so tired. Maybe I should take a nap. Maybe I go to sleep. And these are things that you just need to keep away from you, especially before you want to get into trading now or in a trade. Now, for an example, let's say somebody did this with you and afterwards you go to your screen and you look at the charts. I can almost guarantee you your trade will not pan out as you expected, because this person that was talking to you was draining your emotional capital that you need to preserve to make the right decisions while you're trading. It doesn't only apply now to a person that's negatively influencing you. It can have also other aspects. For example, you get super annoyed about something that happened. Something is not working the way you want. Absolutely not trading related. It can be something at work. It can be something that you should have done for your wife or your kids, and you pushed it again down the road for another day. Stuff like that, So this is from the inside eating you up and draining your emotional capital. So you have to make sure that you're protecting this emotional capital to be able to make the right decisions when you are trading. The second aspect is, when it comes to patience, that you wait for your trades. If you're super impatient, I give you a really, really simple way to get more patient, and that is you set yourself as an example, a certain day in the week where you want to do something specifically. I give you an example. For example, I like to smoke shisha, kalyan, however you want to call it, hookah. I like to smoke that. I only go smoke when we either have the weekend or I have achieved one of my goals as a gratification. And I have to wait for that. Now, if I'm sitting at home on a Monday, I did not hit any of my targets, any of my goals already for the rest of the week, and I have the craving to go to smoke, I'm not doing that because I need to teach myself to be patient to wait for this. Once you have that in control, you can also wait for trades. A lot of people see a green candle and they're like, oh, this is going up now. I need to jump in before I miss the train. This is not the right way to do that. You will learn in this course how we set up trades in a really specific way, and you wait that the trade is coming to you. We are not chasing trades. My own experience, if you chase trades, It can go sometimes right, but most of the time it doesn't. And for that simple reason, we don't want to basically get into that, because we want to make sure that you stay profitable and that you actually make money after this program. The third aspect is that you should avoid revenge trading. Maybe you have heard this term before, maybe not, so let me explain it to you. Revenge trading means that you had a trade that was going bad and you're directly jumping back in to show the market that you can do it, so you can beat the market. You can never beat the market. I'm sorry to break it to you, but you will never beat the market. The market is always right. That is something that you actually should write down. The market is always right, and pin it somewhere around where you look at the charts, that you always can see that. The market is always right. So if you did a wrong trade, it's not because the market is wrong. You were wrong in the way that you looked at the charts. You misinterpreted the chart pattern, the indicator, whatever, and that's why the trade went against you. Like I said, a lot of people think they are smarter than the market, and they jump directly into a new trade and try to make up for the loss that they just banked on their trading account, and want to show that they are smarter than the market and can make it back. 99% of the time, when you revenge trade, you're going to lose even more money. You get more frustrated. Your emotional capital gets even lower. You get more distress, more anxiety, and it will just lead to more losses over time. The second biggest pillar is risk management and your position sizing. We're going to get into that a little bit later, but also here, you should never trade with more money than you can afford to lose. I'm sure you have heard that before. That's why there's a simple rule of thumb that I explained in the previous lesson. If you have $100,000, take $10,000. From this $10,000, you only take another 5 to 10% that you are actually trading with per trade. That way you make sure that even if you blow your $10,000, that you did not blow the full capital that you had available. And it also will take a long time to blow your $10,000 that you initially had, because you're always trading only with 5 to 10%. So you have 10 to 20 trades before you actually blow that. So, and not winning 10 to 20 trades is actually quite hard, that you are not having one winning trade. So for that reason, you need to know how to position, how to size your position, and also how to manage your trades. If you have a losing trade, you never usually add to a losing trade. You cut the trade. You don't want to hold on to a losing trade, keep adding capital to it. And what most likely happens in the end is that you will just keep losing more money because the value of the token is just keeping declining. And when it finally gets to the bottom from where it's going to bounce back to the upside, you have now already your portfolio at minus 50% or even worse. That's why we are cutting trades that are not performing and adding more money to trades that are performing, and having proper risk management systems in place to make sure that we are also taking profit along the way. And then the third pillar, which is the smallest one when it comes to staying in control, is actually the analyzation of the chart, your technical analysis that you do, where you mark out your entry, you mark out your exit, and also the selection of the coin that you want to trade with. When it comes to emotions, we all know that this also impacts our mindset and the other way around. And there is a really simple saying, I forgot who said it when I created this course, but it says, if you master your emotions, you master your actions, and the one who masters his actions masters all future realities. Now, I will give you a simple example. You have for sure heard about manifestation, the law of attraction, and it actually works. You might think it's total nonsense, but let me give you an example. Did you ever visualize something? You dreamt something about what you want to own or you want to have. Can be anything. Can be kids, can be a wife, can be a house, can be a sports car, can be a destination, can be an experience, whatever it was. You have something manifested in your mind and you thought all the time about it, and one day it actually happened. And the time to get there doesn't actually matter so much. There are certain things that you can do to speed up the process, which I'm going to explain you here in a second. Just by subconsciously thinking over and over the same thing, it automatically brings you a tiny step closer to the end goal that you have visualized. Now, for me, that were several things. I'm sure you have also similar experience. I don't know any person that ever came to me and said, hey, I never visualized something or dreamt about something and I did not get it, you know. So of course there are big dreams that some people have. Some people want to become billionaires, want to own like a 200-foot yacht, want to own a Lamborghini, and they never achieve that. Okay, that's one thing. But what about these smaller things? You know, getting a house, getting a wife, getting a husband, having kids. These are also dreams that people have. Or just having a roof over their head, like for the rest of their life. That's also something that some people dream about. Just a few examples here. This is why I'm telling you right now, your mindset and having a positive mindset is also really, really important when it comes to trading. Not for the sense of that you think about what the trading outcome should be, but that you are in a state of mind where you have a positive mindset while you are actually at the charts. Again, that does not mean that you should be now overly confident in your trade, that this trade actually is working out and that you are cheering yourself up. Yo, I'm so positive, this is going to work, That's not what I'm talking about. I will give you really exact strategies how we enable us to get a positive state of mind that we need when we get into trading. But let's first talk about how we control our mindset and how we have a negative, or what leads to a negative mindset and what leads to a positive mindset. And these things come out of our emotions that we have. A lot, of course, for problems and emotional and negative unbalance comes from having fear, having rage, having stress, or having an overwhelmingly amount of negative thoughts. Now, if you give you an example again, if you speak to somebody that is depressed and you ask them, hey, how's your day going? They're gonna tell you everything what went wrong instead of one tiny thing that might have gone right. Because they are depressed. They think all the time negative about every aspect of their life, and it's really hard to get somebody out of that if they don't know how to actually do that, or they were never taught how to get out of that. Depression comes from talking to yourself all the time negative, making yourself smaller than you actually are, talking to yourself and convincing yourself that you actually are that person which you are in fact not. If you have a lot of fear because, I don't know, you are one of the doomsday believers, you think every day could be the last day of my life, you could get hit by a car. These are also things that you have to push away. There are certain fears that I still have them, but I push them away. I know how to handle them. I give you something really stupid, and my girlfriend is actually the reason why I have this now. I never had this problem before. She has, I forgot the right medical term for it, but she is afraid of getting on the plane, you know, so she is super panic-ish when we're sitting on the plane, but only at takeoff, and then when we have turbulence while we are flying. She also doesn't like that, and when we land, it's normally okay. But the takeoff, she is going nuts, like really nuts. She is crying, she is making herself small in the seat, you know, she is shaking, shivering, you know, so it's insane, you know. So the first 2 years with her, I was not really paying a lot of attention to that, you know. I was like, it's fine, surfing, you know, so I like flying, you know, I have no issue with that. Was for myself making fun of it, like on the inside in my head, you know, so not telling her ha ha ha, you know. So sometimes I had to laugh, could not suppress it, you know. I was like, everything is fine, you know, flying is safe. I don't know what you have. We flew private jets, you know. There was not so a big deal, you know. So then we flew first class, business class, you know, never a problem, you know. So of course she was going crazy, but I had no problem with that. Now, since roughly a year, I start to sweat when we take off, or even sometimes mid-air, you know. So when we have turbulence, I had the craziest experience of turbulence in my life when I was flying one time in 2010 from England back to Amsterdam, because it was winter, it was foggy, you could not see anything when you looked out of the window in the plane. It was a crazy storm raging outside, and we tried to fly from England normally back to Germany, but because of the weather conditions with the heavy snow and everything, it was impossible to land in Germany. So we had to go to Amsterdam, which was the only flight that we could take. And from Amsterdam, we would have taken a train then to Germany. And this was also not possible when we arrived in Amsterdam because the railroads were frozen. So, but that was not the worst part. So while we were on the plane, we had so heavy turbulences that people started screaming because we were entering some air holes where we dropped like, I don't know, if I had to guess, we dropped one time like 300 meters, free fall with the plane. People went crazy, so I was sitting there with my friends and we were laughing, having fun, so, but some people start screaming. So I had music in my ears really loud through my my in-ears, normally with in-ears you don't hear that from people that surround you. And I was then, for the rest of the flight, sleeping through this turbulence that we had. I woke up when we landed and my friends looked at me. They're like, what is wrong with you? I'm like, what do you mean? He said, crazy turbulences. You listen your crazy metal music so loud, so how could you sleep like that? You're crazy, so I'm fine, so, but just to give you perspective, never did I had a problem with flying. Now, since I'm with my girlfriend and she is super panickish about it, she kind of brushed off on, so I brushed off on her with the panic attacks that she has when we are flying. So, and this is of course not really nice because before I loved flying, I still love flying, so, but now I have to live with being sweaty at when we take off and also when we have turbulence also there, so, and also when even if it's an absolutely amazing flight, everything is fine, no turbulence, sometimes I look out of the window and think like, okay, what if we get now in one of these air pockets where we drop 500 meters and the pilot is not experienced enough to handle this? So stuff like this starts going through my mind. I, of course, push it directly away again because I know how to do that. This is something, one of the fears that I have now to live with. It sounds super stupid, because I never had it before. Now, because of my girlfriend, I have to deal with that. But just to show you, so even I still have certain fears, everybody has certain fears. Maybe you might be afraid of spiders that never will go away, so potentially. So maybe you do some hypnosis stuff, I don't know. So, but the important takeaway from here is that everybody has certain fears we're never going to get rid of, but we can take control of them like I do when I get into a plane. So I have one kind of loophole that I can use, and that is when I'm on a business flight or when I'm on a first class flight, I don't have these issues. Don't ask me why, I don't have these issues. If I'm on an economy flight, because there are certain routes where I can only fly economy and not business, or there is no real business class, then I get kind of panic-ish a little bit, so I have my little loophole, but it's not working all the time. But if you know how you can control your fear like I do, so I tell myself, hey, how many times does it happen that a plane actually crashes? How many times did it happen from that airline in the last 10 years that actually a plane crashed? When did the last time fell a wing off, or an engine exploded from that plane, So I think about these kind of things, and then statistically it's telling me, okay, this is still really, really safe actually. I should not panic so much, so I'm over dramatizing things, So and these are kind of things that help you to get back control over your emotions and put your fear in a small box and keep it there and not let it break out. So, and the same goes also with rage. When you're super angry, everybody knows that, you can be like super enraged, super angry about something. If you just think about a simple, stupid situation, you get angry about because your husband, your wife did not clean, so is that really so bad? Or can you just take a breath, and think about, okay, it's not so bad. Okay, I told her 20,000 times to do that. I told him 20,000 times to do that. Should we really argue about this now? Should I give emotional capital into this feeling, drain myself, be exhausted afterwards, or is it just not worth it? And should I take a step back, relax, remind again, and maybe kick him a little bit or her a little bit to do it right now? But I will not get angry about this in a way that I did before, where I'm exhausted afterwards by getting angry about it. The same is with stress. Here's a simple example what I did about stress. Everybody asks me all the time, hey Alex, you're 37 years old, how the fuck do you still look like 25 or even 20? So there are certain things that I did to avoid stress, and that is one of the results of it. So what I did when I was 23, it was around 23, 22, 23, 24, was I was in my apartment in Germany. I had no job, no real job at least, was living off benefits of the German government. I had to go somewhere, and it stressed me out because I was running late. I had to do some other things, and it was stressing me so much out that it exhausted me so much that later on I had to take a nap. And normally I never take naps on an afternoon unless I'm sick. But at that point I was like, no, I need to take a nap. Too much energy gone. I decided at that day, because it kept happening the following day and the day afterwards also. So I had like multiple days with a lot of stress. I cannot remember what it exactly was because it's so long time ago. But I remember that moment when I said to myself, if something stresses me out in that way, in my mind, I walk away from it. I just let it go, and I'm not gonna stress about it anymore. And the same I'm doing when something physically in front of me is stressing me out. It can be a person, can be something else, but usually it's people. So if somebody stresses me out because he's saying something negative, or he is saying something that I don't like, or because it's negative, what I usually do is I turn around and just, okay, normally I'm polite, say, hey, sorry, I have to go. There are other people, or I'm in a rush, I have to do things. I find an excuse to actually physically leave the conversation because of that specific person that is stressing me out in that moment. So that can be anyone. Can be your employer, can be an employee, can be your wife, can be your kids, can be your husband. It can be anyone. But I have learned, once you do that, you have a such more relaxed life. When you just try to avoid stress, you should not avoid stress in a sense you're stressing out about avoiding to have stress. You should just know certain mechanics how you can do that. And for me, what really worked pretty well was that when something stressed me out, I took a breath, was like, okay, I walk away from it, I close my eyes, I walk in my mind away from this. And if it's like I said, in front of me, I walk physically away from that point that is stressing me, whatever that potentially is. The next aspect is negative thoughts. If you tell yourself all the time negative things, you're gonna start to believe them. That is a big issue. Most likely the saying, the mind can move mountains. It also works the other way around. If you don't believe that you can move mountains, you will never move them. And that's the thing with negative thoughts. If you tell yourself over and over again you cannot do certain things, that is something, for example, you have heard for sure a lot. Somebody said, oh no, I cannot do this. This is too hard. It is not too hard. It is too hard because he's telling himself it's too hard. Again, stupid example. Somebody says, I cannot lift the phone. It's too heavy. So, really? I don't know. Like 85% of the world population has a phone and they can lift the phone. Why you cannot lift your phone? Stupid example. But you get what I mean. So there are certain things that people say that they cannot do, and it's only because they're telling themselves they cannot do it, but actually they could if they wanted to. It's just their mindset that is wrong here. So, but these negative thoughts at a certain point, it's not only about what they cannot do and what they can do. If you tell yourself enough negative thoughts and feed your brain and your mind with negative thoughts, at some point you will end up in a big depression. And here are certain things that you can do to actually avoid that, and you should do them at least once or twice a week. For once, you should try once or twice a week something absolutely new, what you have never done before. I'm not saying you should now jump out of a plane, with a parachute, because you've never done this before. But this is one of the things that you can do. You can also do, you can introduce reading a book about self-improvement, for example. Or you can start kayaking. You can go inline skating, because you have never done this. You can travel to a country where you can go snowboarding during the summer, so just find some. It can be absolutely small. It doesn't have to involve that you go to another country, or that's super expensive. Just do something with what you have never done before, and do this at least once or twice a week. Every week you do one or two things that you have never done before. Can be also, like I said, can be something small. You have never cooked for your significant other. Cook something, bake something, draw something. It can be anything. Just do this once or twice per week, and that will already improve your mindset. The next step is that you need to listen more to others. I'm really bad at that. I have to admit that. So when I'm in a big group of people, I am always trying to control the conversation. I try, since I'm aware of that, which is not since yesterday, since a long time I'm aware of that. I try to let other people speak and listen more what they're actually telling to me. Not only that I'm listening, but I'm consciously listening what they're actually telling me. So, and that means I'm not just standing there and pretend to process what they are saying. I really think about what they are saying and try to add value to the conversation. Once you're doing this, you will see a shift in your surrounding. I can guarantee you that. If you are, or if you were somebody or if you are right now somebody who I was at my worst, where I did not try to let anybody speak and speak over other people to try to control the conversation, and now you change and you stop doing that, you let people talk, you wait for your cue when you can say something to add to the conversation, you're gonna see a shift in the perspective how people see you. Now when you realize that people see you differently because now you listen more, and they actually valued that, and people are smiling more around you. They are saying, hey, that was an amazing conversation. Now, what does happen in your brain? In your brain, now, you get a lot of endorphins, which is giving you that good feeling that you have sometimes. You can already have that when you wake up. You say, okay, this is an amazing day today. I'm going to rock it. So you have that endorphin shot already when you get up sometimes. So, and that same feeling happens if somebody is complimenting you, if somebody gives you accreditation for certain things. And this is something that you want to implement also in your life, not because you're seeking for the gratification from the others. It will just help your mindset to stay also more positive, because your mindset is registering that people around you realizing that you were actually contributing value to a conversation and were deeply listening what they were actually telling you, and try to come up with a solution for a problem that they, for example, had, or that what you added to the conversation was actually helpful to them in whatever way possible. You should also, in these conversations, emphasize with their situation. So, for example, if somebody is crying in front of you and says, oh, I just broke up with my boyfriend, you should not then say, yeah, great, it was such an asshole, So that is not something what you should do, I know it sounds ridiculous to talk about stuff like this, but some people are just bad at these things, So, and trust me, it will help to shape your mindset in the right form that we need to be successful traders. What I mean by emphasizing with their situation, like in this example, if somebody broke up with you, so somebody that is basically comforting you and telling you, hey, look, there's so many other people out there, you will find somebody else, so, or what do you want to do now besides getting your ex potentially back, so can we do something fun, emphasize with their situation and not do the opposite thing. I was also really bad at that. I could give you an example now. I will not do that because it was kind of bad in that situation, and it had something to do with a terror attack where a friend of a friend got killed. So, and then I brought up something. So it was a mess. Let me just put it this way. It was a mess. I don't want to talk about it. So, but I also went there. So I had to learn that in certain situations to not do or engage in certain conversations. Then another point is that you should start thinking out of the box. I give you here another example. Your car breaks down, no electricity in the car, nothing, it just breaks down, it's dead. It's dead. So what would most people do? Most people just call the car service, say, hey, there's something wrong with my car. So it's off, it's dead, it's not moving anymore. It just died on the spot. Somebody do with a positive mindset. They're curious. They're like, what happened? Let me open the hood of the car. Let me have a look. Maybe I find the issue. Now you look at it. You don't see on the first look that anything is wrong with it, you go to the battery, you shake a little bit on the cables. Now you realize, oh, the cable is a little bit loose, that screw is a little bit loose. Maybe that's the issue. Maybe that's why the car died. So now you tied up the screw, say, start the car. The car's starting again. Oh, surprise. So how did that happen? Because you were starting to think out of the box and not just be lazy and call someone. So now that, of course, it doesn't have to be with a car, it can be any other situation where you need to think outside the box, try to find a solution for something, than just being lazy, starting Googling it, or you're watching on YouTube to find a solution. Try first to think about it by yourself and find potentially a solution that might be abstract, but it might actually work, So I give you an example that happened recently to me. My AC here in my apartment was dropping water, was not really cooling anymore, and then in my bedroom the AC made such a strange noise that I had the feeling this is going to explode if I don't turn it off. So I turned it off. I said to my landlord, hey, something's wrong with the AC, we should let that get checked. And then I was thinking about, because I had the issue also in my villa in Thailand, and was like, maybe the air filters are just so full with dust that the aircon cannot take or blow out the cool air anymore because it gets blocked from the air filters, and because the cold temperature that's now in the aircon with the heat that the aircon is generating leads to condensation of water, and this is what is dropping out of the aircon all the time. So I did a little bit of research. I find the aircon model online, the manual for it. So I looked up how I can open it. I open it up. The air filters were completely full with dust. So it was no surprise that no cool air was coming out of it anymore. So I cleaned them, I dried them, I put everything back in, I turned them on. Now it's freezingly cold in my apartment again. Just another example, I could have also just picked up the phone, called someone and said, hey, fix it. But I'm curious by nature, I'm curious. I like to figure out things, how they actually work. Another aspect is that you need to meditate. I'm not saying you should become now a monk, and meditate like 2 hours a day, 6 hours a day, without eating something, being quiet in a corner. 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes is enough, so where you just be by yourself in a quiet room, no phone next to you, nothing. You can potentially have your phone next to you if you have like meditational music, but I actually like to do that without anything, any noise, any distraction in the room. So for me, that's usually my bedroom, because there, I have a laptop there, usually I have my phone there. In the morning when I get up, I put my phone in my office or into my corridor or in the kitchen, and the laptop is off, and then I still lay on my bed for 5 to 10 minutes and just reflect, think about things. What do I want to do today? Do I want to make more money? Do I want to go somewhere? Whatever. I just meditate for 5 to 10 minutes to get me in the right state of mind for the rest of the day. So 5 to 10 minutes, if you do that every morning, it's not really taking much time away from the rest of your day if you just do 5 to 10 minutes. Now, afterwards, I can tell you, you are way more relaxed going into your day. You're not jumping around, oh, I'm late here, I'm late there. You're way more relaxed about anything. The last step or one of the last steps that I can highly recommend you is that you also read one book per month. This book should not be now like a crime novel or something like that. It should be something that will improve yourself. So a self-development book, a business-related book. It can be related to your business, can be also related to a different business, another skill that you want to learn, for example, trading or anything else. Just one book per month. It doesn't have to be 500 pages. It can be 50, 100. It actually doesn't matter. Just do it and read one book per month. If you read more, even better. But for me, one book is enough. I'm so busy. I'm really, really happy if I can commit to one book per month. And the last step is that you also give back and help others. It doesn't always have to be financially that you give back to other people. It can be, like I said, just by helping them. They're asking for a favor. And telling me, hey, I need your advice, so what coin should I buy? A stupid example. I get this all the time. People asking me, what coin should I buy? Sometimes I'm a little bit annoyed about it because they think like I'm the coin master, so I will just tell them a coin and the coin will go up. They will make a lot of money. They basically see me kind of like a walking money printer for them, so, and asking me all the time, which coin should I buy, so the last coin that you gave me made me so much money, can you give me another one, stuff like that. Like I said, sometimes it gets annoying, but then I think about, hey, did I help today anybody already, or do I want to help this person again or somebody else just for the sake of helping someone? So usually I do that. I'm a super helpful person. I like to help others and help to empower them in any way or shape that I actually can, because this is again triggering your mindset to stay positive, because by helping somebody else you feel good about yourself. Really simple. If you help somebody and that person appreciates your help, it automatically gives you positive emotions, and that will also help you to maintain a positive mindset. What does actually happen in our brain to maintain that positive mindset? Really simple. The more positive thoughts you have in your brain, the more your brain will help you to get more of that. So how does the brain do that? Really easy. The brain has a lot of synapses. These synapses increase dynamically when you have positive thoughts. There is a study out there. Unfortunately, I cannot pull this up. I'm actually going to show that to you in the masterclass. One of you guys should remind me about that. There is a study out there with a person on a brain scan with positive thoughts, somebody that always or mostly has positive thoughts, and somebody that has a chronic depression. You're going to see that the brain is way more active and synapses are firing way more on the brain that has all the time or most of the time a positive mindset against the one that has all the time chronic depressions. It also increases your mental productivity by improving your cognition. What I mean by that is somebody that is procrastinating because he's always rumbling about all the negative stuff that's happening to him. It's like, I cannot get anything done. I'm already too late for this and for that. Where should I start? So these are all typical things that lead to procrastination, and you will not get anything done. And then by the end of the day, you say, oh shit, I did only one thing out of 10. I'm a loser. So also this positive thoughts will help you to improve your productivity because you're in a positive state of mind. You're like, oh, nice. It's 9 o'clock in the morning. I got already 2 things off my list today. I have 8 more to go. Let's go. I'm going to rock it. I'm going to make even 15 things. If I can do 5 things for tomorrow that were planned for tomorrow also today, I will feel even greater. So do you know that when you have like a checklist and you start scratching things off that checklist by the end of the day, and you're like, yes, I did all of it, what I had written down on my checklist. So these are things that are coming from your brain because of the cognitivity improvement from your positive thoughts. It also intensifies your ability to pay attention and also to focus to certain things. Here I tried now to find an example. Let's say you are about to cross the street and a car is really coming close, and the person next to you, your friend, whoever that is, your kid, whatever, is not paying attention because he's with his mind somewhere else. And in the last moment, before the car is actually striving that person, you pull that person back. So because you paid attention and you had focus, subconsciously you were paying attention and grabbing that person away before the car can hit that person and potentially something worse happens. Can also be chart related. So when you have a positive mindset, you pay more attention to detail. And what happens then on the chart is when you pay more attention to detail, maybe objectively the chart looks amazing and everything looks like we should go up, and then you find one small detail where you start thinking like, that small detail could lead to that everything that actually the chart starts turning around, and if I get into the straight now I will lose money. And then you're like, okay, let me wait 5, 10, 15 minutes, let's see how this is going to play out. And then you wait, and then you see it actually played out like you thought, because of that small detail that changed on the chart. Somebody with negative mindset will not pay attention to that. Somebody with a negative mindset is like, nice setup, click, buy, let's go. And then it turns against them, and then they're wondering what went wrong, and they cannot find the reason why it went wrong. It also improves the ability to think and analyze incoming data. So, and with that, I mean everything around you, not only charts, so of course it's really important for charts that you can process data really, really quickly in a fast manner to act accordingly to what you see in a chart. Especially if you're a scalp trader, you need to be able to think quickly and adjust your strategy potentially if something happens on a chart. For example, the market structure is changing, it's shifting right now, so you need to adjust to that. If you don't do that, you lose money. This is also one of the aspects that is really, really important, that you can process data as fast as possible to get the best result and the best outcome. And the last point is that you improve the ability to solve problems quicker and also enhance your creativity. People always ask me, Alex, you are so creative with so many things. I personally don't perceive that, in the same way, but people telling me, and it can be business related, somebody. Now I have a project, a crypto project that I'm working on right now. Cannot recall exactly what I came up with, but my partner said, hey, let's do this, let's do that. And I said, I was thinking about what they were saying, and I was like, hey, we should actually connect these two things together and make it into one, and then we save time, we save money, and we improved everything. And they're like, oh yeah, this is an amazing idea. So from where does that creativity come? It comes from all the other things that I do right to keep a positive mindset. So it also helps me to improve the ability to be more creative and also to solve problems quicker than anybody else. Of course, not anybody in the world, but to some extent quicker than people around me. Because I always try to find a solution for a problem as quick as I can, because I trick my mind into it to find the solution as quick as possible, because I know I will get a gratification for that, which means I will feel better about myself, So, like I said, there are small things that you can do to maintain that positive mindset over multiple days, even over months. Potentially, I have maybe one day every 2 months that I really think negative, everything is not working, so why is everything so slow, I need everything faster. Still happens, so, but it's super, super rare, because I trained myself to maintain a positive mindset and to control my emotions, to have these days as less as possible for me. Like I said, it happens still sometimes, but it's rare. It's really, really rare. I can really count them on one hand usually in 1 year, maximum on 2 hands, but I don't need more hands than that. It's super, super rare that something like this is happening. Now, what happens when you have negative thoughts in your brain? First of all, it will slow down your brain coordination. So what I mean by that is the procrastination that we were talking earlier about, where you say, like, I cannot do this, it's too hard, it will take too long, and then you procrastinate, you overthink all these things, and then the day is already gone and you have not done anything. And then you tell yourself again, oh, I'm such a loser, I did not do anything, I wanted to do so many things, I got not anything done. So, and again, this will lead to, when you look at the brain scan, to having a brain that is not firing a lot synapses and connections to other synapses, which will lead to overall feeling bad about yourself, because you tell yourself you're a loser, which you are in fact not. You just did not do certain things which you should have done, and also potentially you don't know how to get in the right state of mind to change your current situation. It also makes it difficult to process thoughts or to find solutions. Like I said, so there are people around you, there's a small problem. I don't know, the light is not working. You go to the switch, the light is not working, you're like, what is this, So I cannot fix that, I need to call an electrician. Maybe you should go to the breaker box, check the breaker box, and you see, oh, the breakers flip down. So of course there cannot be electricity. But you're not thinking about this, because your mind now in a negative state is so negative about everything that you're like, I cannot fix that. I cannot fix that. I cannot check the breakers, so it's dangerous. I need an electrician for that, So there's a lot of things that people say that they cannot do. A math equation, there's like 3 + 7 multiplied with 4, and people say, oh no, this is too hard, I cannot do that, so this is small things add up to having a negative mindset, so you should never say I cannot do this. I eradicated that out of my mind, that I said I cannot do this. Maybe right now I cannot do this, but I can learn how to do it. If I really want to, I can learn how to do it, so, or somebody can show me how to do it. There is no I cannot do that, so this is non-existent for me, cannot do that. Now, of course, if there's like, I don't know, atom physics, nuclear physics, so okay, I need to study to do that, so there are certain things, so, but I never say to myself, oh, this is something I cannot do, so it's like, okay, if you're a professional, do it, it's not because I cannot do it, it's because you have the experience to do that, and I need to learn it first to be at your level, so this is a total different conversation now, so it's not like I'm telling you, oh, I cannot do this, it's so hard, no idea how that works. It's like, hey, you have experience, I admit that, you have experience, you're gonna do that, takes too long to study this now, to figure it out. It's not because I'm lazy, it's time sensitive potentially, so I don't have the time to now read through 3,000 pages to get the knowledge that you have and spend like 500 hours on that. Please do it. You have the experience, you have studied this. Let's go, so, but just the sheer thought of telling yourself you cannot do that is really, really bad. Rather say, if I really want to do this, potentially I need to invest a lot of time into this to learn it, but it can be something small, for example, some people say I cannot cook, does that now take a lot of time to learn how to cook? Not really. I learned cooking by myself, so because my mother was not in our household anymore, my dad did not cook because he was working all the time, and I was fed up eating fast food from the microwave every day, so I learned to cook by myself, so with recipes and stuff like that. Now I can cook, I worked actually in a restaurant at one time in the kitchen as a sous chef during a summer, and so without having a proper education as a cook. So it just shows you there are certain things where people say I cannot do that. If you just invest a little bit of time, you will be able to do these things. And that's why I never tell myself any moment about something, hey, I cannot do that. So if I want to invest the time to learn it, okay, then I can do that. If I think there's somebody more qualified next to me who has spent the time already, I let him handle that. But I'm not saying I cannot do that because just for the fact, so I don't want to deal with this right now. It also hinders the creative ability of your brain. What I mean by that is finding abstract solutions. I gave you multiple examples of that, like that I connected two things together into one for my project. You will not think about things like that. If somebody tells you the same situation, will say, hey, we have like these two things, so what should we do with this? And you will be deflecting. You're going to say, I don't know, so I cannot think about this, so you come up with something. These are signs to me when somebody is like this, something is going on with him which is wrong, so he is not in the right state of mind right now. It also decreases the activity in your cerebellum. What I mean by that is when you look at the brain scan, that you see that this is not as bright as a brain that has a positive mindset. I invite you anytime, let's go to a brain scan, your brain against mine, and I'm pretty sure that mine will light up a little bit more than yours because I'm just trained in having a positive mindset. I'm not saying you are not trained as well, but I'm doing this for 8 years already. If I count the time before I traded, actually a little bit longer, so it's 14 years technically, 14 years, something like that, where I started telling myself don't be stressed out about stuff, that was like the first step of it. I guarantee you, if you bring me somebody out of your surrounding that's a pessimist, all the time negative, everything is bad, and you put him into an MRI scan and you do that with me, you're gonna see a difference day and night in these two brains. It also impacts the left temporal lobe, and that is where your fear factor is sitting, which is affecting your mood, your memory, and your impulse control. So somebody that is really impulsive has usually also a lot of negative thoughts inside going on. So that can be insecurities, for example, girls have that a lot, so you know that a lot of people say, oh, girls are always so emotional. Usually a super emotional girl has insecurities that she doesn't know how to deal with, and resulting out of that comes then the rage and the emotional outbreak that they have later on. So if you also want to control this, the easiest way to do that is having positive thoughts. Have you ever seen a girl that's super, super emotional that has actually positive mindset? It happens, but it's really, really rare. Now in the crypto space, I can tell you I've met also some girls in the crypto space that have a positive mindset. They're not emotional whatsoever. I'm like, what's wrong with them? They're like a robot, so in a positive way, so they're not like just standing in a corner, not saying anything, no emotions whatsoever, but they have a positive mindset, and you rarely see them cry, so they are not overthinking things. They are not giving too much thought about negative things that they receive on their end, so it's breaking down, starting to cry because somebody said you're ugly, you have a pimple there, whatever, So think about girls like that, a woman in general, or even men, So if a man is super impulsive, and is losing control, what happens? Normally he's beating somebody up, So that is also resulting out of own frustration about something and want to vent it on somebody else. That's why I rarely got involved in any fights in my life so far. I had in school 2 fights, and that's it. And these fights were not provoked by me, they were provoked by other people. And I had to defend myself at some point after they were basically bullying me for a couple of months. And then after a couple of months, I decided, okay, now it's enough. It's enough. I tried to stay calm and everything. It's enough. Now I'm going to teach them a lesson, So these things happen. You will otherwise never see me engage into a physical altercation or something like that. So, and this is also because I control my mind, I control my emotions, and that is really important here. Some ways that will help you to maintain a positive mindset and get into the right state is when you know how to rewire your brain. The first way, how I always like to do that, is by reaching the child in you. Now you think, what does that mean? How should I reach my inner child? What do you mean, Alex? I give you a really, really clear example. Think about when you were 3, 4, 5 years old, and what did you want to become later on in your life? Give you a stupid example. In my childhood, I had in my kindergarten people around me that said, hey, I want to be a firefighter, I want to be an astronaut, I want to be a police officer, I want to be a pilot, I want to be a jet pilot, all these kind of things. Anybody at home tell you you cannot do it? I'm pretty sure when you were 2, 3, 4, 5 years old, nobody in your surrounding was telling you you cannot do it. Everybody was empowering you and saying, yes, later you can become a pilot, you can become a firefighter, a police officer, you can become a judge, you can become president, whatever it is, you can become the richest person in the world, Your parents, if they were good parents, they were empowering you and saying, yes, you can do that, you can do that. At that moment, your mind didn't know any limitations because of the empowerment of your parents telling you everything is possible. Your mind at that stage was also thinking everything is possible, whatever I want to do, I can do it. People that can maintain this kind of state of mind for the rest of your life, these are the most successful people that you see right now in our modern society. People that get pulled down by negative surroundings are the people that are not succeeding in life, or not to the extent that they wanted to succeed in life. I give you again here an example. Now, let's say you moved on. Your parents told you, become whatever you want, you can do that. I believe in you. You start going to school. Your first grade, your grades are not outstanding, to become a fighter pilot later, because you need to have good school marks for mathematical calculations that you have to do, so from where is the wind blowing and stuff like that, so how much resistance is and how much G forces you have to take. You need to calculate stuff like that. So you're sucking at math. Now you're telling your teacher, hey, I want to become a fighter pilot. Your teacher is laughing and you say, with your math skills, I don't think that this is going to work out. Now you get a negative influence impacting your belief system that you have, and it's making a dent into it. And now you start doubting yourself. Okay, if I need math to become a fighter pilot and I'm sucking at math and I keep sucking at math, I will not become a fighter pilot. How do I fix that? Now, maybe I'm not good enough to become a fighter pilot. Maybe I should try something else. So these negative surroundings are having a huge impact later on in your life on what actually will become out of you. If people would tell you all the time, no, you can do that, we believe in you, go for it, what do you think will be the most likely outcome? Because you have no limiting beliefs, the most likely outcome is that you're going to achieve that. And now let me help you to reach your inner child again, where you have no limiting beliefs. The way that I do that is I close my eyes, I think about that situation where I told my parents I want to become fighter pilot, judge, richest person in the world, whatever, and try to remember that feeling that I had when I was saying these things, and try to remember how it felt to have not that limitation and all the negative influence surrounding me telling me I cannot do that. I try to remember how I was feeling in that state of mind. And I'm doing that for 1-2 minutes every single day, where I try to remember how that actually felt. And I can remember that when I told my parents, I want to become this, I want to become that, and my parents empowered me and said, hey, yeah, do it. If you change your career, you want to become a firefighter, now you want to be a pilot, go for it. It's fine. Do it. Try to remember how that felt and reflect on it. So try to get that feeling back that you had in that moment. Then the second step is that you get out of your comfort zone. This can be also, again, multiple things. For everybody it's different. So for example, for me, getting out of my comfort zone, one thing, again, stupid example, I don't like to talk to girls when I don't get clear signals that they want to talk to me. I talk stranger girls, so I don't know them, I have no idea who they are. I see them in a club, they're across the dance floor, so they look pretty, I'm really interested in this girl, but I'm not the guy who's going over there and starting a conversation. It's just not me. Or at least that was not me for a long time. Still not doing that a lot, so because that is going out of my comfort zone. It's going out of my small little bubble, where I tell myself, don't want to be one of these 100 idiots that's hitting on this girl, and always coming with the same stupid phrases to open up the conversation. Hey, how are you doing? So what are you doing here? My name is Alex. So what's your name? Oh yeah, nice. Blah blah blah. I feel kind of stupid doing that. Honestly, I'm not the type of guy who's doing that. So, but give me a few drinks, so I start getting out of my comfort zone. So, but now I can also do that without a couple of drinks, but before I usually needed a couple of drinks. And if I did not drink, then I needed clear signals from that girl, that she wants me to come over to talk to her, to get out of my comfort zone. So I was basically waiting that she comes into my comfort zone and that I can then be in my comfort zone and talk to her. Because I didn't want to experience a rejection from that girl and feel then bad about myself, because she did not like me, so maybe I said something wrong. I did not want to get rejected. That's why usually I never do that. So that is the core reason, and the symptom of it is that I'm not going over. So that's something that I had to fix for myself, So there's okay. If I'm in a club, I go at least to one girl, and just speak to her, that I don't know, so and see how it goes. If you do that multiple weekends over a certain period of time, at one point you're gonna meet a girl and you're gonna have at least an amazing conversation with her. So maybe you have like 4 or 5 girls that it's not working with, but after a while, so you find one that you actually have a good conversation with. So, but again, That's just a stupid example, so it can be anything else. It can be like, you don't like to be in the water, you don't like to go to a nice beach club or something like that, so because you just don't like to get wet and stuff like that. You need to find something is making you uncomfortable and then try to overcome that. Whatever it is, it can be also, for example, cooking. You are so uncomfortable cooking is, I don't like, everything dirty afterwards, need to clean, So whatever it is, do this also at least once a month, do something to get out of your comfort zone. The third step is that you should smile a lot. It is proven with multiple studies that people that smile a lot more than other people are also more successful, and not only that, smiling is less stressful for your body and less exhausting for your body than not smiling at all. So did you know that smiling is engaging less muscles in your face than not smiling? So it is harder for your face to not to smile than to actually smile. So, and you now we're gonna see some other symptoms. If you start smiling more around people, of course not a creepy smile, all the time like this, but like a smirk, something like this. So, or like when you walk in the street, just a little smile like this is enough, so that people see you have a positive face. Now when you see that, what you're gonna see from the counterparty that is looking in your face while you are smiling, I guarantee you, if you start paying attention to that, the other person will smile back. It happens a lot when I walk with my dog. I walk here a specific way, up and down all the time, and there's a lot of foot traffic, always, but sometimes. And when girls looking at me, I smile at them automatically. I look at my dog, and then I smile at them, they look at my dog, and they smile directly back at me. So what does that tell me now? That tells me they are now reflecting what I put onto them. And that is, I'm showing them I'm a positive person. They want to show me also that they are a positive person. So that's why they are smiling back. So now what happens in your brain is, when you see that somebody is acknowledging that you're a positive person, your brain rewards you again for that. You feel good. So you will feel much better about yourself when you do that. And you most likely have already seen this, when you laugh with other people, everybody's laughing, you feel really good about yourself, So it's basically the same mechanics here, just by smiling more, So that's also something that some people need to learn, So to smile more. You have people that run all day around like this, So I cannot make the lip higher right now because I still have here a small wound, but you get what I mean, really long. When I walk around like this, So these are, I feel really sad for these people, because when I see people walking around like this, I know, again, they are not happy with their life. But people that are smiling a lot, these people, they also radiate and attract more people around them, because people want to find out, hey, why is he so positive? Why is he smiling? What's the reason for that? So, and again, this will help you also to maintain a positive mindset. The fourth step is meditate. We talked about this already. And then the fifth step is that you should need to keep a success journal. Remember, I showed you earlier that I have a success journal. So what does that mean to have a success journal? Here I write down not only traits, I also write down my daily to-do tasks, and also my weekly ones and also monthly ones. So, and what I do then afterwards is I scratch them out when I'm done with them on that specific day. I scratch them completely out. Now what happens when I scratch them out is I'm telling my brain I'm done with it. I have done it. Amazing. Now your brain, again, it's really strange how our brain sometimes works. My brain tells me again, oh, good job, Alex. Good job. So, and that is the reason why I keep a success journal, to basically trick my brain into telling me, hey, you did a good job today. You did everything what you had in your success journal. And I also write down overall successes. For example, when I made today with a trade $50,000, I write it in my success journal. Also that. So the best way how you should do that is you should have two separate books. One with your to-do things and one success journal where you only write successes into it. For example, today I write into it, I made $50,000. Then tomorrow I write into this, I helped 20 of my students with a certain strategy. So the next day I write, I got an award for being one of the top traders. So these are things that you should write into your book. Can be totally different for yourself. It should apply to you. And then after a couple of months, you have such a consortium of accumulated successes that you can use this book now in your favor. And what I mean by that is, once you have a bad day where you feel super negative, you say like, nothing is working, not making enough money, I'm not where I wanted to be already in this moment in time, you should then take out your success journal and just go through the pages. And that will remind your brain about all your successes, and you will automatically feel better and push all the negativity away. That is the reason why people keep a success journal. And if you ask somebody like Elon Musk or Michael Saylor or some other prominent, highly successful person, they're going to tell you they have something similar, or they have it somewhere in their mind. So for example, I don't need this anymore. I have most of it already in my mind. When something like this happens, that I can just think about what I achieved already, and that where I want to go will come with time. I just need to be a little bit more patient about it. So I'm right now actually in a situation like that. I wanted to be at 37 already in a totally different place, but then I think about, hey, I achieved already so much, also with a 2-3 year delay than actually planned, but I got there. It took 2-3 years longer than expected, but in the end I got there. So and then I'm telling myself, hey, it's not so bad. I achieved a lot. Let's be a little bit more patient. Let's see in 2-3 years, if I'm then there where I wanted to be right now. And usually you will end up where you want to be if you, of course, keep a positive mindset. Then the last step, how you help your mindset to stay positive, is having a wall with goals and dreams. Like physically, you should have that physically. Many people know that in Dubai, in my apartment that I had, every single room I had a vision board. So what is a vision board? It is basically a wall with goals and dreams. I had a vision board with a private jet with my logo on it. I had a Bugatti, what is it called again? La Noire, because it's the only Bugatti that I unfortunately like, which is also the most expensive one, and which I didn't know when I looked it up. When I checked the price later, I was like, oh shit, this is the most expensive Bugatti out there, which is not like 50 years old, so like from the newer models, it's the most expensive and increasing every year in price. I think right now it's $20 million. When I looked at it, it was 12, 3 years ago. I had Japan as a country on there because I have never been. I really want to go to Japan. And I had my YouTube channel on there to get over 100,000 subscribers. And I had to want to become a billionaire on there. I still have all these things in my mind, because here in my apartment currently I don't have that vision board, but I have it in my villa also in Thailand. So what does that vision board do? If I see all the time the goals and dreams that I have, it programs subconsciously my brain to get there where I want to be. Now this vision board can look for you totally different. It can be you want to enlarge your family, you want more kids, you want a bigger house, you want to travel somewhere, because I had also Japan on there. I've never been there. I could also put China on there. I also want to go to China. I was never in China. It can be anything that is a little bit far out in the distance, but if you work hard enough, you're actually going to get there. It can be also something totally abstract, so like, let's say you have right now $1,000, but you dream about to become a billionaire, put it on the vision board, so maybe something happens in your life, because you always see subconsciously everywhere that you want to become a billionaire, that you find something that will get you there. That's why I have that vision board. I had a vision board before with other things, and I achieved all of that. So I give you an example. I wanted to be a millionaire at the age of 30. So I did not reach to become a millionaire by the age of 30. I was actually 32 or 31. Let me think about this. 2019, 32. Yes. So I was a millionaire by 32. I think it actually happened a little. Technically, I was 31 becoming 32. So a year later than expected. But here's the reason why I did not do it with 30. I did not have a vision board physically anywhere. I had it only up here. Now I do vision boards everywhere I go, and things just kind of falling into my lap, So This another stupid example, being here on FinUp, so I always wanted to educate thousands, 50, over 100,000, even 1 million people, to teach them how to become successful with trading. So now I'm here telling you how to do that, and potentially 50, 100, 200,000 people are going to see that. These are things that just fell into my lap because I still had them in my mind, visualized that I want to do that. It is really important that you understand the power of your mind when you start trading, because if you neglect this part, I can almost guarantee you, even if you only want to do to trade part-time, most likely it will not work out for you. Maybe you think now, okay, he talked so much about mindsets, sounds like a lot, so yes, I get it, so this is going on now for over an hour just talking about this. But if you just take the pinpoints of what I'm saying, and apply everything, you break it down, you're gonna see that you can do these things actually quite fast. It just takes a lot of time to explain it. I'm gonna finish then this lesson with that. So you should always try to have a positive mindset. Write down your dreams and goals. Really important that you write it down. Also, write these things down in one of your journals that you have, not only having on your wall. And let me tell you the power of writing it down. I'll give you an example. When I was still working a normal job, I was in door sales, and that's where I learned how powerful such a journal can be. We were motivated by our leadership to at least make 5 sales per day. I was writing down during our morning meeting, because we had every day a meeting in the morning before we went out and making door sales. I was writing down while somebody else was explaining something. I'm gonna make 15 sales today. I'm gonna make 15 sales today. I'm gonna make 15 sales today. I was writing this down, I think, 20 times during that meeting. What happened was I went out and I made over 20 door sales that day. And it happened because I manifested before by writing it down in my journal that I'm going to do that. Don't neglect these things. They have major impact on you and help you to make the right decisions when it comes to your trading. And by that, I finish off the lesson and we're going to move on to the next one.